Go from what I've written down so far. I'm going to try and sum up 2018 for myself. A few weeks ago, I shared a testimony of some of my journey at another church that we're supporting around trusting in God. And for me, it brought the importance of being obedient to God. Not just listening to what he says, but doing what he says. For a long time, I would say that I was happy to settle with just enough. Everything around me seemed somewhat okay until I was frustrated with my life just looking like a normal Christian life. No real sort of daily transformative power kind of going through, none of the sort of things that I see in Acts or anything like that, and that really started to frustrate me. I was content with happiness whilst living with truth than being content with truth and living with happiness. In the chapter, The Once Born, Twice Born by A.W. Tozer, he sums it up like this. Long ago, I decided that I would rather know the truth than to be happy. Being happy or ignorance. I cannot have both truth and happiness. Give me truth, we'll have a long time to be happy in heaven. This kind of sums up 2018 for me. I became adamant to know the truth than to settle. God is truth to me. And because I was willing to grow deeper roots in him, I didn't think that my desires to know truth would begin to uproot things that I thought probably wasn't there, which I call the well. So it's kind of the year of the well. This included things that I might have thought, my character. God just started to strip me. That's the best way I can describe it. He just stripped me of everything that I could depend on, everything that I thought was stability for me. Everything was stripped, so the only thing that was standing was my stableness and dependency in God. In John 8, 31 to 32, Jesus said to the people who believed in him, "You are truly my disciples if you remain faithful to my teachings, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Now, for me, on the surface, everyone said I'm quite busy. There's a lot of things that they can see on the surface of my life, which included me starting a cake business over this past year. Over this past year, I went from full-time work and ended up in 8 different jobs over the past year. I gained a second nephew from one of my younger brothers. My dad got engaged. My bestie, Roberta, over there, graduated from her master's. My spiritual mother won an award for her business. On the other side, there's bits where I've cleared my debt. I also lost my grandma this year, and I wasn't able to go to her funeral. I grieved the murder of a young person that I worked with in the community. And there's a few times I felt a bit lost along the way. But despite these ups and downs, God was hemming me in ways that I did not expect. Below the surface, he was at work with me. There has been more of a depth in my relationship with God in this past year than I've probably seen in my previous years. And that is to do with the amount of support that I've had around me through church and people that have been consistent in helping to decipher me along the way too. My trust and dependency on God grew. I became more vulnerable to myself. I cried a lot this year. I cried a lot. The well just kept flowing. And God spoke a lot. That on the surface, some things didn't seem quite seamless. But actually what God was working in me was a refining of things that were to come. So I call this still a journey. It's not finished, because 2019 is kind of the continuous of this. I learned to rest, which has been drummed in to me on too many other occasions. These all because I continuously did not want to settle for less. And I bring it down to this. I no longer wanted to be dictated, or my decisions to be dictated by how I felt, but I just wanted to have a willing heart. And I think there's a big difference in your feelings and what you're willing to do. Because your feelings will go up and down regardless of what comes your way, but what you're willing to do is what God is looking at. So as we look back, and as we look ahead, I guess what I say to you is that actually, what are those things that God has asked you to do? And have you done them? If God was silent for the whole of 2019, would you go, "Oh no, Lord, you're not talking to me"? Or would you go, "Actually, Lord, you've told me to do some things that I haven't yet done"? on someone's Instagram status story, they had, time is more expensive than money. And that caught me because I read it as, yeah, time is a lot because disobedience is costly. And I know it's costed me a lot when I've been disobedient and actively been disobedient. Oh yeah, God's telling me to rest, right? Resting. Actively enjoying the fact that I'm disobedient is what had to drum home to me, what God had drummed home to me. So I guess, yeah, for you, despite all of that, think about those things that you need to be obedient for over this next year and actually start from now.